Hey, it's Randy from Funeral Funds of America. In this video, I'm going to share with you the actual pricing for $5,000 worth of burial, cremation, final expense, life insurance, or funeral funds for a 59-year-old male. Now, first thing I'd suggest is going directly to our website at funeralfunds.com. And you can, we've got these free quotas on just about every page, and you can just select the state that you live in. We are licensed in all 50 states, by the way. Select the coverage amount, put your birthday in there, fill out the other info, click Get Quotes Now. It will take you to a page that's going to show you all the best insurance companies with all the best rates that you can qualify for based off your age, gender, and the state you're in. It's really terrific. Take advantage of that. You can also call us directly at 888-862-9456. One of our licensed agents can help you out with rates or any other questions as well. Now, the first thing we always recommend for a 59-year-old male looking for $5,000 worth of insurance is determining if $5,000 is even going to be appropriate for your final expense needs. Now, typically when we're talking final expense needs, we are talking cremation or burial. Let's talk about cremation first. So right now, the average cost of a cremation in the United States is between $1,000 to $2,000. That's if you just come home in a cardboard box or an urn. Now, if you're going to have some sort of ceremony in addition to the cremation, like a celebration of life or remembrance ceremony, that's probably going to run around $3,500 to $4,500, depending what part of the country you're in. Now, as far as coverage amounts for that cremation where you're going to be coming home in the cardboard box or an urn, we would typically recommend around $5,000 to $7,000 worth of coverage. That's what most people go for. Now, you might be saying, well, Randy, you said cremation could be around $2,000, but now you're saying $5,000 for the coverage. Yes, that's right, because our 59-year-old male would probably enjoy making it to 69, perhaps 79, and even longer. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that if we get insurance today, that we get enough to inflation-proof the plan for later in life, because we know that everything goes up in price over time due to inflation, even these cremation policy or the cremation coverage, all that stuff, even the ceremonies and stuff. So yeah, we always recommend getting a little bit more coverage than what it costs today. That locks in your lowest rate at your current age, and then it helps inflation proof your plan. So what this would do for you is if you live a long time, your plan will be inflation proof and your family will have that protection they need. The reason we add in a little bit of more coverage is just because we want to inflation proof your plan. And that's kind of on the back side of the policy. But on the front side of it, if you don't live as long as you had imagined you would, there's a little extra money maybe to take care of some other final expenses, maybe medical bills, credit card bills, something like that, that if you'd lived long enough, you would have certainly paid those off. Now, for the cremation and the ceremony, we would typically recommend around $7,000 to $10,000. And again, that will inflation-proof your plan in the long term, but also provide some funds earlier in the life of the policy if you die sooner than expected. Now, for a burial, the average cost of a burial right now in the United States is right around $10,000. So, if you walked into pretty much any funeral home in the United States with a $10,000 check, they should help you get it done. It may not be anything fancy, but it's hard to imagine that they would say no to you and let you walk out the door and, walk two blocks down the road to their competition and let them take the money. But just understand, it's not going to be anything fancy, and it is not inflation proof at all at $10,000. So most of the people we help who are 59-year-old males, probably if they're getting buried, it's probably going to get somewhere between $10,000, $15,000, and or $20,000. Kind of just depends on their financial circumstances. A lot of the people we help are on a fixed or limited income, so we might come in and get the $10,000 right now. That covers their most immediate needs if, God forbid, they died right away. And then we can just circle back in a few years and possibly add some more coverage for them. That works out really terrific. But, for this video, we're talking about getting $5,000 worth of insurance. Well, obviously $5,000 is not going to cover a burial if the average cost is $10,000. But what some people would be looking at doing is maybe they had a policy from before, maybe a $5,000 or $7,000 or $10,000, and they got that a long time ago when that was enough at the time, but now they know prices have increased and they just want to add a little extra coverage by maybe getting an extra $5,000. we can certainly help out with that. That's very normal in what we do day to day. Now, there are some people that say, hey, I'd like to cover the final expenses, but I'd like to leave some money behind for my kids too. And they might be looking at $30, $40, or $50,000. And sometimes, just depending on their age, looking at $50,000, it's going to be more than they're comfortable spending. So sometimes they'll go, well, if I can't get $50,000, I'm not going to do anything at all. And we don't recommend that at all, because if you don't get anything, then your children or loved ones are going to have to pay for really your responsibility, your final expense bills. So what we would often recommend in that case is get a policy specifically for your final expenses, and then we can always follow up at a later time and get a separate policy if you wanted to leave money to children or family members. And that works out really terrific either way you want to do that. Now, one thing we always recommend is getting first day coverage or benefits. And we do not recommend those 2-year waiting period plans at all. So we'll talk about those in a minute. But yeah, you want first day coverage or benefits. And what that means is that hypothetically, if your plan were issued and approved today and you died tomorrow, the insurance company would have to write that check for $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000. That's the coverage you want. It's the least expensive coverage, and it protects from the very first day. Now, some people would say, hey, Randy, you're right. I do like that first day coverage, but I've got some medical problems. I'm not in the best of health, and I hear those policies have health questions, and I'm worried I might not qualify. And we always respond back saying, well, that's our responsibility, not your responsibility. And that's why we work with so many different insurance companies, because they all have different underwriting and they all have different health questions. And right now we're getting around 90 to 95% of the people we help are going to get qualified for either first day coverage or first day benefits. Really, the only reason you wouldn't qualify is if you just waited too long and you had some significant health issues, like maybe you had a terminal illness and you're going to die in the next 12 months, or you had dementia or dialysis, you're on dialysis, or you're in a hospital or in a nursing home. If it were anything like that, we'd typically refer you out to a different insurance company. Another thing that seems to happen, almost every week, is somebody will call us up and say, hey, we had a family member pass away this last week. They didn't have insurance. We don't have any money. Their body's down at the funeral home. The funeral home director's not going to do anything without getting some money. So we need to get this insurance really quick so we can get some money to pay the funeral home director. And we have to let these people know that there is no insurance company in the United States that's going to issue a policy on a dead person. Yeah, you have to be alive to actually qualify for this insurance. And it's really sad that they had a family member pass away, but it's doubly sad that their family member didn't care enough about the people that, they were leaving behind, that they actually got this insurance. They knew they were going to die someday. They knew they were going to need this insurance. They'd probably shopped around for it, but they never did anything. They procrastinated. And then one day they just went and died. And now their family's stuck with this. And they're probably going to have to put these expenses on their credit cards, paying 26% interest. What a terrible legacy to leave behind when you should have taken care of this. You could have done everything else in life, and you messed this one up. And, it's just a bad legacy to leave. So don't do that. These policies are affordable. We can always help you start smaller and add more coverage later. So one thing we don't recommend is those plans with 2-year waiting periods. Yeah. Colonial Penn, their $9.95 plan, if you did not know this, their $9.95 plan is a 2-year waiting period. Yeah. So we'll talk about that in a moment. But Colonial Penn's not the only one to offer 2-year waiting periods. There's other companies out there, Mutual of Omaha, the United of Omaha line, AIG, Gerber, just a host of other different insurance companies. And some of these companies have done an amazing job of convincing the American public that if they're over age 50, the only thing they're going to qualify for is a plan with a 2-year waiting period. To which we always say, don't believe such nonsense, because we help people with first day coverage all day long. Now, our 59-year-old male probably just got done watching one of those slick Colonial Penn commercials for their $9.95 plan. And they're probably thinking, oh my gosh, 59, I'm 59. I'm probably going to get a ton of coverage, maybe $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, maybe even $50,000 for $9.95. And then they talk with a Colonial Penn agent, or they go on their website like we've done for you here. and they see that 1 unit of coverage, which is $9.95, is only going to pay out $1,200. So that may be enough for a cremation in some parts of the country, but I know for a fact that's not going to be enough to pay for cremation in pretty broad sections of the rest of the United States. And in the end, it doesn't even matter because it has a 2-year waiting period. It wouldn't even pay out in the first 2 years anyway. So yeah, just be careful with these plans. You know, you should never get a 2-year waiting period plan if you qualify for first day coverage. Oh my gosh, do not do that. You will end up overpaying so much money. And there's some people out there that say that, you know, these companies that offer these teaser rates, kind of these really low pricing, that they actually don't want to sell that plan to you. You know, they want to advertise that to you, get your information, get you in their marketing funnel, and then they'll show you how measly the coverage is. And then from there, they'll try to sell you more coverage, which is more profitable for them. So, you know, I'm not saying Colonial Penn would ever do anything like that, but, you know, some people are kind of convinced of that, I guess, and you can make that decision on your own. And just kind of thinking, does $1,200 really do the job, even if it's just $9.95? So let's try to find out what $5,000 worth of coverage would be. I'm going to guess we're about 4 units based on the math. We got to look. You can't get $5,000 on the nose through Colonial Penn because they sell it by unit. That's the only way they can come up with that $9.95 per unit. So yeah, see here we're running into this problem. 4 units is $4,800, and 5 units, 5 units here is going to be $6,000. So let's kind of get it down, I guess, as close as we can here. 4,800. Let's go see what, and that's about $40 here. So let's go see what that would be in first day coverage. So we've got 5,000 here, male, age 59. We're going to click get quote down here. And again, not even 5,000 is $40 through Colonial Penn. And if you look at here, we can get that same 5,000 for right around $21. Basically half price, because you got to remember this is $200 less than 5,000. So this is something that we see on a fairly consistent basis, that Colonial Penn is right around 200% higher than our average first day, lowest priced first day coverage program. And you'll see here this level, it says flight issue level. That level means first day coverage. So think about it though, you know, why would you ever sign up for a plan that you know you're automatically going to be overpaying every single month for the rest of your life, and then get stuck with a 2-year waiting period as well? And think about it, Colonial Penn's right around $20 more a month. So $20 a month times 12 months is $240. If our 59-year-old male makes it up to 69, you will have overpaid on your policy by going with Colonial Penn. You will have overpaid right around $2,400. I don't know about you, but you know, giving money to an insurance company to put in their bank account does not sound like the best way to do it. I would rather you keep that money in your own bank account, and just understand that when you lock in the savings by going with a better rate, it starts from the very first day and it continues for the rest of your life. So yeah, just be an educated consumer. If you're not an educated consumer, that's A-okay. We can help you be an educated consumer. We do that all the time. Let's look at some other companies here. You'll be able to see all these different companies on the quote we provide for you. Find one. Oh, here's one, like Lincoln Heritage. Fine company, I guess, but their pricing's high. Look at that. That's definitely much higher. It is level coverage, which is good, but yeah, definitely right around $31. So Lincoln Heritage has a program where, you know, when you pass away, they will supposedly call 2 or 3 different funeral homes to get the best pricing, maybe do a couple other things, but they don't do that for free. No, they charge for it. They add it into the premium, so you end up overpaying. And again, it's right around $31 versus you could get this for $21. So it's roughly $10 more a month, and you might go, that's not too much, $10 a month, but that's $120 a year. After 10 years, that'd be $1,200, $1,200 roughly. So you got to ask yourself, is it worth paying an insurance company like $1,200 of your hard-earned money to basically just call 2 or 3 funeral homes, get the lowest pricing, and do a couple other things? It may only take an hour or so to do. a lot of people would say, that's a pretty good payday for the insurance company. We would typically agree with that statement as well. So what we do is we recommend you let us help you get this lowest price coverage here instead of overpaying. And then what we can do is we've got a free funeral and estate planning guide, and you download that off our website, and then you print it out. And once it's printed out, then you just fill it out. You fill out who gets what and what goes where and what you want to happen after you pass away, and then keep that with your insurance policy. And then when you pass away, your family members will go to that one spot, and they will just be able to open everything up and see that you've got an insurance policy to protect them financially, but the funeral and estate planning guide to protect them emotionally. Because all they'll need to do is open up that funeral and estate planning guide, just read what you wrote down, and then just follow through and execute on your wishes. And they'll have the peace of mind knowing they're doing everything exactly as you wanted it done, and that you actually provided them the money so they're not going to be burdened financially. And they will know how blessed they are because you loved and protected them not only in life, but you loved and protected them one last time in death. And that's actually when they're going to need you the most and you won't be here. So taking care of this in advance is such a wonderful legacy to leave behind. So if you want to leave a legacy like that behind, we can help you out. We've got a special quarter for our YouTube visitors, funeralfunds.com/YouTube. And that will show you the best companies with the lowest rates. We've created that specially for you. Take advantage of it. It's a terrific offer just to do some price shopping on your own. You can call us directly at 888-862-9456. One of our licensed agents can help you out. But if you've got an existing policy and you just want to price shop it to see if you got the best deal, or you want to add coverage to it, we can certainly help you out with that. If you are looking for a brand new policy, or you just have some questions, you want to know what you qualify for, what might be best given your circumstances, we can help you out with that as well. But we look forward to that day when we can help you get the most amount of coverage for the least amount of money. We will be blessed to help you with this at some point in the future. Until that day comes, you stay safe, you take care, you have a nice day. Bye-bye.